kings have ownership to all of each and everything. Indeed, I am your slave, created from the dust, a traveler in this world. I shouldn't feel such loss. La ilaha, la ilaha, la ilaha.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the Ever-Merciful. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. And blessings and peace be upon our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. Dear viewers of Clearing the Mist, welcome to a new episode of your program. And as you may be already familiar with the purpose of the program, we intend to present some Islamic terms and transliterate them. By transliterate them, we mean to represent them using letters of the English language or the Latin alphabet or the Roman alphabet, if you like. And in some cases we have to resort to some additional symbols, or by simply underlining letters which exist in the English language, and so on and so forth. It's only intended to facilitate the pronunciation of these terms for you. But of course, what helps you more is simply to listen to me pronouncing these terms, and to explain these terms as shortly and precisely at the same time as possible. In this episode, we are going to deal with some financial terms. Financial terms. By financial terms, we mean terms which have something to do with finance. What is common among the several terms we are going to cover in this episode is that there is a financial element or a financial aspect involved in all these terms. They may on the surface appear unrelated to each other, but actually at a deeper level all of them have something to do with finance or with money, if we use a simple or a simpler word. We are going to cover terms like hajr, like sharika, like mudaraba, and like muzara'a. We may also have time to cover other terms. If not, we are going to continue doing financial terms in the following episode by the will of Allah. Dear brothers and sisters, viewers of Clearing the Mist, let's go to the screen and examine the first of these terms, which is al-hajr. By hajr we mean interdiction of an action with respect to a particular person. Then you prevent a particular person from doing a certain action, from buying or selling, or from any form of wasting his or her money. Why should we do this, or what are the circumstances under which we are permitted as Muslims to do this? We have certain causes of inhibition. Then hajr can be interdiction of a person or inhibiting or inhibition of a person from being involved in financial transactions. In many cases, to protect the person himself against wasting his money. We have several causes of inhibition, such inhibition or interdiction, like infancy. If an infant or a child inherits a lot of money, for example, and there is the chance that his money or her money will be wasted by the people surrounding him, then This is one cause or one reason why we resort to hajr to prevent wasting this person's money. Another reason is insanity. And of course, until the child is grown up enough to become responsible for and become able to handle his own money he inherited, for example, then of course there is no longer interdiction or inhibition of the person. The second cause is insanity. If a person gets insane, then and his children, for example, fear that he or she may waste his money by way of protecting the person himself, then they would resort to hajr. A third reason, which by the grace of Allah does not exist nowadays, but just to continue dealing with the causes of inhibition, is what we call servitude. When the person is not a free person, he has some money, he has a certain property, he has certain riches, but he is not a free person and he is not allowed to handle his own possessions until he becomes a free man or a free woman. And of course there are several ways of someone who is in the state of servitude to become a free man or a free woman, which we may cover later. But these are the major causes for inhibition which justify or allow for hajr. The second term we are going to use to deal with is sharika or ash-sharika. Sharika or ash-sharika. What does the term sharika mean? Dear viewers, it simply means or signifies the union of two or more persons in one concern, in one transaction, in one business, in one financial engagement, financial practice, and so on. It is applied in Islamic law or in Sharia. By Islamic law we mean Sharia, or Sharia is often translated into Islamic law, to contracts as well as to partnership. Then sharika can be in the form of signing a contract between two people or two parties, or it can also be in the form of a partnership between two sides. A special kind of partnership where one partner provides the capital, and in this case the person providing the capital is called Rabbul Mal. Rabb, that's the first word. Al-Mal, Rabb is the owner or the possessor. Al-Mal is simply money or riches. The words taken together are pronounced as Rabbul Mal. Rabbul Mal is the person who provides the capital. And there is another person who is called Al-Mudarib. Another person who is Al-Mudarib. The second person, Al-Mudarib, doesn't provide the capital, but he provides the expertise, he provides the work itself, he takes care of the business itself. Then here we have some sort of cooperation, some sort of sharika, some sort of collaboration between someone who has the money but who doesn't have the time or the ability to handle his own money or his own riches, and another person who may lack the financial means but who can still work and devote himself to a certain business or a certain financial enterprise. Then here we have what we call mudaraba or co-partnership. Mudaraba, this is what we call mudaraba or co-partnership. We have partnership between two people or two parties. One who provides the capital or the money and one who provides the effort or the work. The person who provides the money is Rabbul Mal, and the person who provides the work or who exerts the effort is Al-Mudarib. And that's why the term Al-Mudaraba comes from Mudarib, or Mudarib is the person who does Mudaraba by conducting the business or running the business of someone who has the financial means or the capital. Mudaraba can also be defined as a legal term to mean selling a thing for a profit when the seller distinctly states that he purchased it for so much and sells it for so much. This is another form of Al-Mudaraba. We have already seen one form of Al-Mudaraba. The other form of Al-Mudaraba is for someone to sell something to gain profit by buying something for a certain price and of course selling it for a higher price. But he has to announce this, he purchased or bought it for a certain price, and he sells it of course for or to make a profit. Once again, a legal term for selling a thing for a profit when the seller distinctly states that he purchased it for so much and sells it for so much. Then this makes it a condition on the part of the person who bought the thing and who is going to sell it to announce distinctly, clearly, I bought this particular article for that much and I'm going to sell it for that much. Then everything should be announced and made distinct. The last form of, or the last term we are going to deal with in these financial terms is what we call Al-Muzara'a. Al-Muzara'a is usually translated into share cropping. By share cropping we simply mean giving over land to the charge of another party on condition of receiving a fixed proportion of its produce. Then if you have land but you don't have the time or the ability, the physical ability to plant it yourself, then you give your land to someone who is able to do this by way of cooperation. And in this case you have to specify, you have to say, I'm giving you this land to cultivate or to plant, and we are going to divide the produce or the produce among us with a certain proportion which must be agreed upon. You take that much and I take that much. You take 50%, I take another 50%, or 40 and 60 and so on and so forth. In any way you both agree on and accept. This brings us to the end of this episode, in which we dealt with some financial terms. In the next episode, by the will of Allah, we are going to cover some other terms related to financial transactions in Islam. Until then, I leave you in the care of Allah. Please keep watching your program, Clearing the Mist. Until then, I leave you in the care of Allah. أستودعكم الله وأترككم في أمنه ورعايته والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Most merciful are you, King of all the kings, have ownership to all of each and everything. Indeed, I am your slave, created from the dust, a traveler in this world. I shouldn't feel such loss.